And the last slide, the budget. The bottom line there is £1,400 basically. That's the shoestring. Okay? I've costed that as of yesterday, and I've guesstimated some things obviously. The early bird rate, you'll notice against AIM, that's Association Independent Music, but you can get the early bird rate through other organisations. If you're a member of the MMF, for example. Flights, that's from Edinburgh, £35 Edinburgh to Gatwick, Gatwick to Nice. And so there's 4 flights in there, £35 a pop. The bus trip, I think, is still £12 or thereabouts. Somebody have to remind me. I guess it's around £12 to get in from Nice, return. So that's quite a cheap one. Accommodation, you could get it cheaper than £60, but if you stay in the Majestic or the Carlton, you'll spend £2 a night if you really want to. So I mean, I've put in there, the sky's the limit as to how high you want to go. The hotels are booked up massively in advance, and I actually went on a couple of sites yesterday, and it's surprising how many hotels are booked up now. There's a lot of hotels outside Cannes, but remember, if you go there, you've then got a taxi fare at the end of the night. And one of the big things while talking about the night is that that's when a lot of this stuff happens at Midem. It doesn't necessarily happen on the market floor during the day, it happens at night. Some of the most bizarre things happen at night, in fact. The best things for me have actually happened at the evening events and meeting people in the pub. Come back to that in a second. Food accommodation. Well, I think so, don't I? I think so. Food, I've put in £30 a day. Now that's doing it pretty damn cheap, by the way. Something to say about it though, if you go to some of the events that Phil spoke about, the country hosted events, there's usually some food and things there, so actually you can live pretty frugally. And also, because it's Cannes, home of also the film festival, as long as you don't go right when you come out the door, you go left into Old Cannes, the Old Cannes town, you'll be able to eat quite cheaply. You'll need some form of promotion material. I've put £100. That can be as high as you want it to be. That was really just to cover some leaflets and business cards and a miscellaneous just for the sake of it. £1,400, that's what it comes to. At the bottom there, you'll see all the other rates. So up to end of September, it's £478 plus VAT. That's the £561. Then it goes up to the end of October, £563 plus VAT till the walk-up rate, which is going to be closer to £900. Okay, so these are things that you've got to take note of. One other thing that isn't factored in there is that the minute you go to a bar, and especially if you're taking someone along for a drink, what's the bar? That's the first thing that you go into. And secondly, you're going to ring up even more. That's not taking drinks and just partying and things. And I mean, a lot of this stuff goes on to like 3, 4, 5 in the morning if you wanted to. It can go on as late as that, and you will, if you go, again, the Carlton, the Majestic, if you go in there and buy around 4 drinks, the one I remember was 2 years ago, it was 4 drinks and it cost me €57, so it was quite a wee sting to take. I suppose one of the big questions that will come up is what did you get out of it? It's sometimes hard to measure. You can leave thinking I've had a great time, blah blah blah, I've seen some good bands, met some great people, and that might be all you get out of it. But there's a lot of other, as I say, the most unexpected things, like for me, meeting the whole team from Popcom, the first time they moved to Berlin was brilliant, because the following year they actually put one of my bands on in Popcom. So it was the first international band to be announced for Popcom, and that came through just sitting in a bar, recognised everybody's wearing their lanyards, this, that and the other, and just going up and saying, "Hi, I'm Adam, I'm from Scotland, who are you?" and find out who they are. And so things like that come out of it, and it's totally unexpected. It meant that other things happened in Germany, by the way, because of that meeting. Phil mentioned other things like the Brit stand. I mean, there is a Brits at Midem CD. We put on a track for one of the artists. A year later, exactly, I'd come back from the following year's Midem and I got an email from Korea looking to synchronise 20 seconds of this track on a LG Electronics advert for Korea. That was worth a lot of money and actually paid for the 3 previous years' Midems. So, I mean, things like that, and that came not from a meeting or anything else, that came from just thinking, like, how can you best use Midem? And that's why I go back to the beginning, make sure you get your money's worth and actually use it. It is a marketplace, and therefore it's up to you to shop that market.
And one comment, if I can make. He mentioned the database. It's called Midem World, and it's really the main tool you have when you come to Midem. We open in October a database, you already registered. When you go and you register, you join the database. It's open for a whole year until the next October, the following year. And it's like a Bible of the industry. You get email addresses from everybody, you can search per country, per sector. And before you come, as he said, you need to prepare and set up your meeting. Most people got 70-80% of the time pre-booked before they come to Midem. And you need really never send any blanket email kind of to everybody. You have to target who you want to meet, why you want to meet them, and try to get a meeting. And be clear what you are offering, don't lie. If this is and you want to show your music, you can send them a link. So even before you meet them, they know what you're about and if they really want to meet you or not, because you don't want to waste your time. Because as he said, it's an investment for you, it's not cheap. So you have to make most of it and stuff. And then the second point, he says the evenings. The evenings, or not even evenings, even networking events, we do it a day or wherever, the opening night party on the Sunday night. As he said as well, our 3,000 people go there, delegates, and you never know who's next to you. It could be perhaps even someone here from the UK, and you don't even know. I was talking to someone who was in the video as well from a company called 24/7, and the big break, they met someone from BBC Worldwide. They was kind of behind them, and they started talking, and they set up the whole back office for one of the online services for the BBC of that. Or someone else you mentioned Korea, we have Irish 2 ladies who went along to license do something else, I don't know what they were doing, and they ended up with the publishing deal in Korea with EMI Korea. They never thought they were going to get that, and they didn't plan for it, but it happens because opportunities are there. And the last thing is as well, never buy drinks in the Carlton or the Majestic.
Get Aaron to buy them for you, obviously.